kind of show you what we mean when we talk about field and feedback and give you a brief overview of how this stuff all works. We're going to show you our proof of concept. So yeah, so the spray in the middle here, that's Howie and Yarla. Yarla's the tendrils, Howie's the human boy. Basically, Yarla has two heads that are being able to be controlled by the player, one of which is a grabbing head and one of which is a chomping head. The blue dot that you see over there is just going to represent the grabbing head for the purposes of this demonstration. But if Colin decides to move the head around a little bit, you can see that he has direct control over it. With the controller, this would be controlled with the right analog stick, and movement would be controlled with the left analog stick, so similar to a twin stick shooter. If I wanted to shoot the tendril out at something, I could press the right trigger, and as you can see, it'll shoot on a straight line. But if I wanted to grab an enemy, I can click it, bring him back towards me, and now I have control over the enemy. If I release the trigger in a direction, I can throw him, I can knock him into walls to stun him, I can throw him into other enemies to knock him around like bowling pins, or into traps, whatever. There's another thing you can do if you grab him. If you grab the enemy, and let's just pretend he's stunned for this demonstration, and hold down the left trigger and let it go, you see the enemy's gone. Basically, he's been consumed, and now he's in Yarla's belly. This is a good way to finish off downed enemies that have been stunned. Yeah, so to tell you a little bit more about what happens when you consume an enemy, we're going to show you recipes and metamorphosis. Okay, so recipes and metamorphosis. What happens when you eat an enemy? Well, when you eat an enemy, basically the way it works is that if the player has unlocked the right recipe, they can trigger a metamorphosis and use that to gain a new edge in combat, basically. They can do this also so that they can use a new attack, and these will be sort of ways for the player to be engaged and keep kind of trying out new things. So what would an example of one of these look like? Basically, this would be something like a spine shooter, maybe, something that has a directional attack. Or it could be something like a area effect telekinetic grab, where you could chomp enemies in a wide circle. This is all sort of going to be given to the player in a way that won't make him confused. So basically, all the controls for the metamorphosis will work in a similar way to how the grabbing tendril works. You just aim in a direction, press the right trigger, and it'll do an action in that direction. So I'm going to pass it off to Jabril to talk a little bit about aesthetics.
Hey guys, how you doing? So, as you hopefully know by now, our main character of our game is Howie. He's a little boy over there. He's a scrawny, shy, basically introvert high school freshman. His main goal is to just keep a low profile and have a quiet life. That's really great until one day he wakes up with Yarla sprouting from his back. And Yarla's the exact opposite. Yarla has a pretty simple goal. She just wants to be the biggest, baddest demon in the universe and have everyone worship her. Pretty simple. So throughout the game, Yarla takes Howie to different universes and dimensions and tries to conquer them, basically. So for artistically, we were really inspired by 90s Nickelodeon cartoons like SpongeBob, really cute, funny stuff, and also more twisted stuff that you will see on Adult Swim today. Two totally different styles, I know you're thinking, but we think this duality really plays into Yarla and Howie's relationship. And hopefully the art style, like teen years, will teeter on juvenile, but also, explore some of the more mature elements. So ideally, they'd be going through universes that range between, evil, creepy devil spawn, or also bloodthirsty cuddle creatures from the pillow dimension. So everything, we want to create a rich universe, rich world in Howie and Yarla. And here's Zed.
Thank you, Jabril. So as far as the scope of our game goes, we want Howie and Yarla to be made up of 3 different dimensions. In each dimension, players will encounter 3 different enemy types, and each dimension will conclude with 1 mini-boss battle. This totals for 9 enemies throughout the game and 3 mini-boss battles. We envision that each dimension will take about 10 minutes on average for a player to complete. Of course, this is obviously dependent on difficulty, but the game will be about 30 minutes in length. As far as the Metamorphoses power goes, 3 of these Metamorphoses will be major Metamorphoses. These are more active powers that are controlled directly by the player, such as the spine shooter that Max mentioned earlier. We also have 6 minor metamorphoses. These are more passive secondary abilities that dramatically affect how you play the game. As far as our schedule goes, we plan to begin pre-production right away. By the end of summer, we plan to have a full prototype with all our mechanics and controls implemented, all our general pipeline established, and our initial designs for the levels completed. By fall demo day, we plan to have all our mechanics, controls, and gameplay systems fully polished and tightened. We also plan to, and that way we can begin our content development, which we will also have 1 dimension fully completed by the end of the fall demo day. And we will also have 3 Metamorphoses powers. And by spring demo day, we will have the entire game finished, from start to finish. We will have our 3 dimensions, we will have all 9 Metamorphoses powers, and we will also have our narrative fully laid out. Now, to talk about the team that's going to make this all happen, I'm going to pass it back to Colin.
Hi again. So our current team houses 11 people, multiple of which, including our leads, have had multiple years of past Final Games experience. I myself am a producer on Social Clues right now, as well as Zed, one of the producers on Blue, and Max, a designer on Social Clues. Jabril has experience working in large animation teams at Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, so he has that experience of working and leading with animation and art. As well as the rest of our team having experience in the industry. So we are aiming for a team size of about 20 to get this game complete. Though, of course, if the team expands beyond that, we are open to the possibility of expanding our scope accordingly. And with that, I'm Colin Horgan.
Max Palazzo.
Jabril Mack.
And Zed Ziauddin.
And that's Howie and Yarla. Thank you for your time and consideration. We will now open the floor up to questions.